I, 29M, lost my wife 3 years ago. I started dating again, and my new girlfriend, 32F, wants to visit my wife's grave. I am one of many who lost someone in 2020. She was my world, and we had our future all set up. She wanted children too by 2021, and then she was gone. I felt I had lost all sense of purpose, and after an agonizing year, moved away. Not too far, but not close either. I didn't feel like I could breathe in that town. Still, every Saturday, I get back and visit her resting place. I just functioned for about 2 years. I am not depressed or anything like that, but I just functioned. Until I met who we will call Ada last year. We started talking and hanging out together. She can be a bit haughty with people she doesn't know well, but I was surprised to find out how sweet and kind she is under the ice. She gave me something to look forward to again. She likes to do most of the talking herself, which is fine with me because I never know what to say. She knows everything about my wife, and this didn't discourage her. She knows I'm doing therapy and still mourning, but she never left me alone. I asked her to tell me if anything I do or say makes her feel uncomfortable or like she's not a priority. She said that as of now, I am doing nothing of the sort. She knows what I do every Saturday morning and never objected to it, but today she said she would like to meet her, as in accompany me in visiting her grave. I feel conflicted about this. On one hand, I respect and feel touched by her wish. On the other hand, it feels weird for a guy to take the new girlfriend where the first wife is buried. How should I approach this? Is it too soon? Should I ask her to wait for that? Here are some relevant comments. One user said, your wife would want you to continue with your life, especially since Ada wants to integrate her into your relationship. Then OP said, yes, we talked many times that we both wanted the other to be happy if one of us passed on. I never thought it would actually happen. Ada has been nothing but respectful and tactful when I talk about her or show her things in pictures. Then in the comment section, OP elaborated on what he does when he visits his wife. To clarify, I don't do anything dramatic like talking to her grave or crying my eyes out when I visit. I just keep it clean. Water the flowers and replace the dead ones. Check the wear and tear on the stone and clean the glass with her picture on it. Also, some details I left out from the post. Ada and I met last April, and we hit it off immediately. We are not currently living together, and we divide our time between our places, but we are planning on sharing a home permanently. She has been clear she would like our relationship to blossom into something long time, and she is fine with a long engagement before the eventual marriage. She is very clear and no BS about what she wants and needs, but at the same time, she is patient and understanding. I love this woman, and I want to make her happy. Then OP elaborated more on Ada. Ada is a very headstrong and determined person, but on this I find a patience and a kindness in her that are close to infinite. She doesn't get upset when I'm a bit sad or thinking about my late wife. She understands. When we first started sleeping in the same bed I shared with her, it felt a little weird, and also a bit like I was cheating on my late wife. Again, no anger or upset on her part. She said she would probably feel the same if she was in my shoes. Update, 5 days later. I talked about this with my therapist, and she feels that based on what she knows about Ada and the way she always behaved about this, that bringing her to my wife's grave will probably be a positive thing. I told Ada that if she feels like it, I would be glad to take her with me this Saturday. She was happy to hear this. She usually works on Saturday mornings, but said she'd take the morning off for me. I feel a bit of an emotion I can't define about this, but I think it will be a good thing. Update. Some Redditors and some people around us were worried that my relationship with Ada is just a rebound. I admit this is something that I too was worried about, and Ada told me she didn't have long-lasting expectations at first. We began dating in April of 2023, but as things progressed and she saw my intentions are serious and that I am committed, her doubts about me were gone. She says we are both made of the same stuff. We are both loyal, committed, and hardworking people, and she wants a future with me, and so do I. We are looking for a new place to share, and I am looking for the ring to make my proposal. I admit that one of my biggest concerns is that I don't want to take advantage of her goodwill, even unintentionally. Her kindness and patience are near infinite, but I told her I don't want our relationship to be all about my past. It would not be fair to her. She reassured me that she doesn't feel taken advantage of, and that I do a lot to make her feel loved and appreciated for who she is. But at the same time, she recognizes that this is a part of me that she's willing to accept to be with me. To my surprise, everyone approves of us. My parents, Ada's parents, influence in my late wife's mother. We never got any backlash. Also, regarding taking Ada to my late wife's grave, I had unexpected things come up for tomorrow. I had to cover for a sick coworker, which means I'll be taken all morning and great part of the afternoon. It happens, and when it happens, I either go on Friday or Saturday. I decided to go this afternoon. We are in Europe, it's evening here, and asked Ada if she wanted to come along, and she readily agreed. We didn't talk much during the drive. When we arrived, we made our way to my wife's tombstone, and I just said, well, here she is. I fetched the water for the flowers and started my usual routine. Ada just crouched as if to examine it. Then she just helped me with the caretaking routine, removing the dead flowers, leaves, and cleaning the picture and the light. We then took a walk around the cemetery. It might sound weird, but it's not unusual here, as many cemeteries double as parks here. Then we sat outside for a smoke before the drive back. We talked a bit, and Ada, who's quite the stoic, got a little emotional. She was happy that I had let her in on what, for me, is a particularly intimate and sacred place, but was also shaken because after all the talking we had done of my late wife, she subconsciously thought of her as someone she'd want to meet and be friends with. But seeing the grave reminded and cemented the fact that this amazing woman is gone. It was a bit shaking for me too, seeing her tearing up, since she's the most stoic woman I've ever met, but also made me think how this woman is a rare gem. I don't doubt that in different circumstances, my late wife and Ada would have been great friends. And I'm a very lucky guy for finding not one, but two amazing women which gave and still give my life meaning every day. I wish to thank all of you guys for the beautiful comments, the well wishes, and love you have poured on me, Ada, and my late wife as well. Despite the tragedy and pain I endure, I feel extremely lucky and blessed to have found another chance at life, and two wonderful, beautiful, intelligent, and amazing women that give meaning to it. I just want to say that whenever you are suffering, even if life seems to be a dark void, there is always a light, and there is always another way forward. Oh, I see how it is. We're crying on the first story. Okay, whatever, guys. I don't care. Send me I'll read whatever stories you send me. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the video. But anyway, next story. Story number 2. Am I the a-hole for telling my stepkids I am not their mom? My husband, 40M, and I, 36F, have been together for 8 years now, and our marriage has been rocky. When I met him, he had twins, a boy and a girl. I love them like they are my children, especially since it's hard for me to have kids that are mine. My husband and I tried for a baby last year and I became pregnant but had a miscarriage, but I think I'm just not meant to be a new mommy. The kids are 16. The twins haven't seen their mom in years because she left them for a guy in New York, which is so sad because they didn't get to have a relationship with her. The kids call me mom and everything. We do everything like a little family, like I always wanted. When I was younger, I always used to tell myself not to date a single father because I thought I might be messing with the mother of their kids, but I took the leap of faith. The other day, my son and daughter wanted to go to the mall with their friends, which was fine because they go to the mall a lot with them. The argument started because of what she was wearing. She wore a very short skirt with a crop top and a jean jacket. I immediately told her no and to change her clothes because I didn't feel comfortable with her going outside like that. I don't even know where she got the skirt from because anything she gets from the mall, she gives me a haul. Her brother didn't even care what she was wearing and just rolled his eyes at me. She was pissed and upset. At the top of the steps, she screamed and told me I wasn't her mom, so I should stop acting like it. Her brother laughed and that made me feel even worse. So I asked him why it was funny to him, and he said that it's true. I am not their mom, so I need to stop acting like I can tell them what to do. This felt like a slap in the face because I basically raised her, and this is what I get? The past few months, they have been saying horrible things to me. My daughter even told me it was my fault I lost the baby, and she's happy I did. But the next day, I toughened up. I acted like nothing happened that day. I would usually wake them up for school and make them breakfast, but this time I didn't. I made myself breakfast because, like they said, I'm not their mom. My son had a basketball game that day, and I would be the mom to bring snacks for the team, but I wasn't going. My daughter had a cheer competition 2 days after that, but I wasn't going. And I know y'all might call me petty for this, and I wouldn't disagree with you. I've been getting up and ignored everyone. I could feel them staring at me every time. Last night, my daughter came up to me and asked me why I didn't show up to her competition, and I told her I wasn't her mom, so why would I? I can already see the "you're the a-hole and I raise my kids" and stuff. I told my husband what they said, but he brushed me off. I don't think our marriage is working out, and I've been thinking about a divorce. I feel unappreciated in this place that I call home. When I slave in the kitchen to make them food, they order out instead, so I am the only one eating the food. So, was I too harsh? Now here are some relevant comments. User 1 said, "Not the a-hole. What did your daughter say when you told her why you didn't go to her competition?" She said she was upset with me and that the whole time at the competition she thought about our argument and that how she messed up in her routine, placing her team in 5th place. She said if I didn't mention what she was wearing, she wouldn't have lost. Then user 2 asked, "How did your stepkids react when you said you're not their mother?" I could tell by their body language that they didn't like what I said and they were shocked I said it. They've been quiet these days. We're basically strangers. And finally, user 3 said, "Not the a-hole. They knew what they said, but are now facing the consequences of their mouths." Update. I know everyone has been spamming to know the update, and sorry I didn't make this sooner. I had to think about what my next move was. I tried to sit the kids down and talk to them along with my husband. My stepdaughter was basically on her phone the whole time, not even paying attention to what I said. Her brother surprisingly was listening, and he apologized for laughing at the comment he and his sister made. I asked her again if she can apologize for what she said about my baby, but she brushed me off again and said the baby deserved it. My husband didn't do a thing when she said this. He sat down looking into space, and I felt embarrassed, so I knew what I had to do. I told him I wanted a divorce if he wasn't to act like I'm a stranger and disrespect me. At this moment, this was my first time getting his attention. He told me that that wasn't the right decision and that we could go to therapy, but when I mentioned that to him before, he didn't care. I know this is not the decision you guys thought I would have chose, but I'm trying to figure out what I want for my life. He begged me not to take it this route, and I wanted to fold, but I know it will happen again. This is really hard. You won't even believe who cried. My stepkids had tears coming out their eyes. I don't know if they were faking it or being serious. It broke my heart, but I can't keep living in a place that I am not wanted. I am staying with my mom for the meantime, so I can get a break and clear my head because this is all too much. If I have anything else to say, I will update you guys over here. It was a shock to me when my stepdaughter changed her demeanor and started saying sorry out of nowhere. I don't know if it is sincere or if she's just ready for me to leave. Here are some more relevant comments. User 1 said, "I am so sorry you were dealing with this. Please know this is the right decision. The kids and hubby are only crying because they lost their maid. Now they have to do everything themselves. You need to get out. Sending much love and hugs." Then user 2 said, "This is actually what I think a lot of us hoped for because you deserve so much more. Aside from the stepson, apparently, your feelings were still not being considered and continued to be disrespected until you mentioned divorce. The fact your husband has no reaction to the cruel thing his daughter said about your miscarriage, even when she doubled down, is mind-blowing, but says a whole lot. I know this will be hard at first, but you will come out on the other end so much happier, and I wish you the best, OP." And then finally, user 3 said, "You've made the right choice. You've been their reliable punching bag, always there to be whacked when they wanted to. Your husband didn't care because as long as they were whacking you, he remained unharmed. Now, OP, they are realizing that you are an actual person with feelings, but it's too late. Your husband should have had his kids in therapy after their mom left. The armchair psychologist in me thinks that they've taken their rage at their mom leaving out on you. They're trying their best to push you away, because if their mom left, why wouldn't you? I think your stepdaughter was also projecting with her vile comments about your baby, and I'm sorry for your loss. Moms are not great in her eyes, so she put the blame on you for losing the baby. Your stepson has stuck by his sister, and they both took it for granted that you would still be there no matter what, which is why it bothered them when you stopped showing up to their events. Now they're hopefully realizing that they've successfully pushed you away, and they're realizing they've thrown away the only mother they've had for so long because they are angry at the mother who left them behind. None of that excuses them. None of it justifies them treating you like dirt, and not a single bit of of it justifies your husband being a useless jellyfish. He's now worried because he'll actually have to parent his kids and look after the house, and because all the crap that's been thrown at you will now be aimed at him. He could have put an end to this, but he didn't because he couldn't be bothered. That was also his child who was lost, and he let his daughter spout that poison. Only now that things may become inconvenient for him does he want to fix things. Only now that you're leaving do the kids actually seem to care. It's too little, too late. Maybe one day your stepchildren will get the therapy they so clearly need and realize how badly they've screwed up and come to you to apologize. And only you can decide if you can ever forgive their hateful comments. And there's nothing wrong with you if you can't. In your place, I'm not sure I could forgive all that. But your marriage was dead the moment your husband decided to not stand up for you. He wasn't a partner. He was a passive spectator who allowed his kids to abuse you. Good luck, and I wish you happiness and peace.
I don't have anything. That last commenter just stole all my thunder. Just armchair psychologist here, and then probably nailed it exactly on the head. Like, what points do I have to make? My thunder has been stolen by this anonymous person. I have nothing to say. Next story.
Story number 3. My elderly mom is on hospice, and her new friend gives me a bad vibe. I cannot for the life of me figure out why I feel like this, but all of my spidey senses are tingling on this woman. Here's a bit of the background. My 40F elderly mom, 70F, has been ill for quite some time and is on hospice. She was living in an independent living place where it was all elderly people in apartment-type units. She has been living there for about 6 or 7 months and made a few casual old people friends, but mostly kept to herself, or so I thought. A couple of weeks ago, my boys and I were visiting my mom. We live right down the street and visit often, when a woman walks up to us with my mom. I extended my hand to introduce myself to this woman when she dismissed the handshake and instead went in for a hug and said,
"Oh, I only do hugs for family, and we're pretty much family."
Okay, a little weird coming from someone I've never met before, and also never heard a single mention of her, but I pretty much brush it off, thinking to myself that she's probably just really lonely or something. I asked my mom about this new friend, and she just says that they met there at the old people place, and she's been a really good friend to her. Great, I love when my mom has friends. It's important to have friends, but this woman just keeps giving me weird vibes, and I can't pinpoint why. A few things that seem odd to me. 1. My mom is moving to a more traditional apartment complex this weekend, and this new friend liked the apartment complex so much that she decided to move to the same place as well. Her apartment isn't ready yet, but she'll be moving to the same complex as my mom next month. 2. She apparently bought my mom's dog a "I have the world's best auntie" sweatshirt for Christmas. They have known each other for maybe 2 months at this point. 3. She called the other day to, I don't really know why, I guess to give me her phone number and more formally introduce herself to me. She talked about doing a lot of caretaking stuff for my mom.
"Oh, I can manage her medications for her if you want."
So I replied that while I appreciate the offer, there's a lot of controlled medications and hospice prefers to keep minimal people involved in the medicine stuff, and that taking on caretaking responsibilities for a friend can get exhausting. So it might be best for them to just focus on being friends rather than her wearing herself out trying to take care of her. She then immediately went to my mom and made it sound like I was trash talking my own mom, saying how she's just an exhausting person, blah blah blah. When I confronted the new friend about going to my mom and relaying our private conversation in a totally twisted way, the friend lied and said that my mom had grabbed her phone and read it all in text messages. It was over the phone, not all via text messages. When I pointed out there were no texts, she just kind of stumbled, and I dropped it because I knew I wouldn't get anywhere. And number 4, every time I talk to my mom on the phone, I can hear this woman telling her what to say or adding comments in. And none of it is outwardly worrisome things, but it feels like I can't have any conversation with just my mom. I am a very trusting person who generally tries to see the best in people, and this woman has not given me any concrete reasons to doubt her intentions and has in fact been very friendly and polite to me in all of our interactions. Nonetheless, I can't shake this feeling that there's something wrong here. I sat my mom down yesterday and had a conversation with her about my feelings towards this new friend, and she didn't get defensive at all but disagreed with me and said that her new friend is just being kind and offering to help with stuff because she knows my mom is not the most organized of people and could use the help. I begged my mom to please be cautious and take the friendship slow, and to keep it simply as a friendship and let me, her actual family, handle caretaking stuff. Despite no changes in medications, my mom has been more confused lately and comes across to me like she's overtaken the medication, but I only give her one dose at a time and the rest is locked up at all times, so it isn't that. But just to be safe, since she's more confused lately, I took my mom's credit card and debit cards so no one could take advantage of her financially. Reddit, please help me figure out what this woman would have to gain in coming between my mom and I if it isn't medication or money. I don't know how to do a background search or if that's legal for any random person to do. But I did look this new friend up on a couple of websites, and all I learned from that is that she has a lot of also known as names, but I can't find anything else. I will pay for a background search if anyone has a recommendation for good ones. We're in California. Does any of this raise any red flags to anyone else, or am I just being too overprotective of my mom on this? Oh, I almost forgot. I called one of my mom's oldest and closest friends the other day and asked her if she's met this new friend, and if so, what was her impression. And she said, "Honestly, I don't know why I feel like this, but I just get a bad feeling about her. I just feel like she's up to no good." Hearing this made me feel better in that I'm not the only one to pick up on something, but I don't know what, if anything, to do about it at all. Update. Thank you so much for all the responses and heartfelt advice. I'm sorry to have been MIA for so long after I originally posted, but it's just been a lot. I just needed to take a beat to take it all in and deal with the punches from real life that kept coming my way. Immediately after I posted last, I went to talk to my mom. I explained my concerns and she agreed to the 2 cameras I put up in her apartment. On moving day, I was out of the apartment for a few minutes taking my kids back to my house when I logged onto the camera app to test out the settings. I overheard my mom and the friend talking about me. It was not very nice and very much seemed like the friend was just teeing things up to come between my mom and I. My mom was playing right into it. The friend, I'll just call her Fran to make it easier, was gone when I got back to the apartment, but I got into it with my mom. I was crying, telling her how hurtful it is to hear my own mother participating in a negative conversation about me after everything I do and have done for her. She cried, I cried, it was awful. But at the end, I had at least convinced her that Fran was up to no good. Mom agreed to create some distance between her and Fran, and she immediately told her that her behavior towards me was not going to fly any longer, and all talk of anything to do with me was off limits. Fran seemed to understand and blamed her behavior towards me on some flimsy excuse that I didn't buy for a second. All was calm for a week or so, and one morning I called my mom to check in on her only to find out she was with Fran running errands. When I pushed for more information, I uncovered that Fran had taken my mom to the bank so that my mom could obtain a new debit card. Fran very much knew I had taken my mom's debit card with my mom's blessing because my mom was having episodes of increased confusion and wasn't aware of who or what she was spending money on. The reasoning for getting the credit card was because my mom had forgotten she had given me her previous debit card. That was the final straw for me. That night, I sent Fran the following text message. "Hi Fran, Mom told me about you guys going to the bank today to get a card, and I just wanted to let you know that I know my mom appreciates your friendship, but that I do not appreciate you getting yourself involved in things you have no business being involved in. Mom and I have her finances under control between the two of us, and we do not need any assistance getting her squared away, no matter how well-meaning. She has asked me to take her card again, the new one, and has put me as the main account holder, so I can be sure she has access to what she needs, but that no one else does. I want to believe you're coming from a sincere place of just wanting to help my mom, but it complicates friendships greatly when you get into financial territory. I handle all of my mom's finances and medical stuff, and it's working for us that way. My mom very much appreciates having you as her friend, but she doesn't need a caretaker. I have got that covered. If you sincerely want to be her friend, you need to take 10 giant steps back and check yourself regarding how you are coming across to me. Because from my perspective, it very much looks like you are dancing precariously close to the elder abuse line, and I'm sure you wouldn't want me to get the authorities involved here, but that's exactly what will happen if things continue down this path." Then, Fran responded with some BS reply akin to, "Oh my word, I would never take advantage of anyone, and I just wanted to help your mom, blah blah blah."
Oh, and I think you and I have gotten off on the wrong foot, which is my fault because I'd like to start over again. More blah, 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 blah.
I never replied to Fran further, and she has not really reached out to my mom since. I believe she is due to move into the apartment complex this weekend though, so we shall see if she pops back up out of the woodwork. I think she understands that I see through her attempts to come between my mom and I, and that she'll need to focus her efforts to scam people somewhere else. I notified my mom's hospice nurses and her social worker as well. I also bought a really super cool medication dispenser that is locked up and syncs up to an app, so I get notified every time it dispenses a medication. That made me feel so much better about Fran not having any access whatsoever to my mom's prescriptions, but the trip to the bank showed me exactly what Fran was really after. I notified the bank that if Fran is with my mom, they are to contact me immediately. All in all, I think most of you were correct. Fran was using my mom for money, or she was trying to, but luckily I caught it before much damage was done. I think I've made my position on Fran clear to her, which is why she is staying away. I think I still need to contact the independent living facility about my concerns with Fran because, I swear I'm not making this up, my mom says that Fran is going to be working at the independent living facility after she moves out. And I don't want her being in a position to take advantage of anyone else. Thank you again to everyone who replied and reached out to me with resources and or advice. I read every reply, and I actually read a number of them to my mom as well. It really helped her to see Fran for who she really is.
Who would want to rob an old person? They're so nice and sweet and frail.
And sometimes racist.
But not all of them, because we don't discriminate against the elderly here, and we certainly don't take advantage of them.
And good on OP for sending that text message to Fran practically saying, I see through your lies and BS, old lady. And good on OP for calling the living care facility down the line and being like, hello, I'd like to talk to you about someone who's going to apply to be at your location.
Yeah, don't hire them, okay? Let me give you the details, girl. But anyway, that's the end of the video, everyone. I don't really have a question or a discussion topic for this type of story. What'd you have for breakfast today, huh? Tell me what you had. What did you eat? Did you eat breakfast? Did you eat breakfast at all, guys? Come on, you can be honest with me. No judgments here. But anyway, guys, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.